Hello there, you wonderful people, and welcome back to another video. And we're looking at Burnley 0, Liverpool 3. And just honestly, not a performance, or I should say, not a result that I was expecting. I predicted that it would be a 2-1 victory for Liverpool, fully acknowledging that it was going to be a difficult game. And it was a difficult game. Don't let the scoreline, take anything away from you. Until we scored our first goal, it was nervy. And it wasn't just, people expect it to be nervous at the back with two, younger centre-backs or inexperienced centre-backs. Reece Williams is only 19. Nat Phillips, 24. He's got more, he's got more years in him. But playing at this level for Liverpool and what we're trying to achieve this season, it's a lot for them to do. But it was nervous throughout the whole team. I thought there was some sloppy play in some instances. And please, don't let you think that this is a negative video. It's not. I'm just getting the facts out of the way first. There was some sloppy play. We were creating some of our own problems early on in terms of the shots and chances that Burnley had, and just like loose passes. Loose passes are they're just not my favourite thing in the world, because it's just, there's no excuse really, in my opinion, for a loose pass. Yes, they were getting pressed in some ways, but they weren't getting overly pressed like you do from like a Man City or something like that, or other teams that press at like a Leeds, for instance, as well, as a good example of insane pressing. It was just sort of like we were in a little bit of a nervous panic mode sort of thing, where it'd just be like, just hit the ball and see where it goes. But we settled after the very first goal. Very first goal was scored by Bobby Firmino, and it was a nice finish. Really, really nice finish as well. Assisted, one of two assists by Andy Robertson, and it was a beautiful ball across the box. Really, really nice. Just in between, it just seemed to be the perfect ball just to go in between all of the Burnley players that were in the box as well. And it was a brilliant ball, and well finished by Firmino. Didn't make the cleanest contact with it. Really didn't make the cleanest contact of all time with it. Pretty much straight at the goalkeeper. But the goalkeeper, there was enough on it. There was enough power on the ball that whatever the goalkeeper got on it, it just went in the back of the net anyway. And that was how the first half ended, I should say. And it was okay. You're thinking 1-0. All right, let's try and progress a little bit more on this. And that was like just before half time as well. So it's almost like a perfect time to score, if there is ever a perfect time to score. So we go into half time, you're thinking, right, it's 1-0. We're on the front foot a little bit now. Hopefully the team can relax a little bit. We came out into the second half, and for me, in my opinion, we looked a lot better in the second half. It was as if that goal by Firmino just let everybody of the players, instead of being like and tense, they could all just go, now let's go and play. And I do have to point out, Sadio Mane was much more improved in this game as well. Much like he was, I think it was against Man United, that he was, again, much more improved in that game as well. But he was very much more, just overall, better movement. Just seemed a little bit more electric. And I always say that word. And what I mean by he seemed electric, his movement seemed sharp. His, positioning seemed very, very good. He seemed to be in more right positions than he was in wrong ones. And he was in the best position to get the ball, take it to the byline, and float the ball up for none other than Nat Phillips. Nat Phillips scored his very first Liverpool goal, and it was a brilliant goal. Like, people just say, oh, it's just a header. It's not just a header. Like, it's not just a header. It's really, really a good indication of how good Nat Phillips has been since he's been with us, and he's now progressing into that role, like being able to be in the box for a header, which we haven't had since Van Dijk, really. We really haven't. Someone that can be a physical presence, can make the opposition centre-backs worry and get himself up in the air. And it was a nice header. Really brilliant ball by Sadio Mane. Perfectly weighted. Nice little, I don't want to say shimmy, because I don't think it's the right word, but he used a little bit of trickery, really nice footwork, released the ball with the perfect weight on it, and it was just there for Nat Phillips to power home, and he certainly did on 52 minutes. And it was 2-0 from that point on. And at that point, things are starting to look a little bit more comfortable. Most of Burnley's threats, if we're being honest, apart from a couple of spells, in the first half, in the second half, sorry. Apart from that, it all seemed to be just us, really. And that was good. That was really, really good. We didn't score the third goal until the 88th minute, and this was another welcome addition. A really welcome addition. This man has struggled with injuries and being out of the team for quite a while. You know, and maybe not being selected, certainly not being selected to start games and such like that. But Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain comes on in the 81st minute. He replaces Bobby Firmino. James Milner also came on 86th minute and replaced Gini Wijnaldum just to sort of like help close out the game. But what Oxlade-Chamberlain produced on the 88th minute, assisted by Andy Robertson, second assist of the game, was brilliant. Again, like Mane, the footwork and the execution, the acceleration that Oxlade-Chamberlain produced to get not only just find the space, but get the shot off was brilliant. But then the power behind what would be considered possibly his weaker foot on his left foot, the power, the precision, and the drive to get it past the goalkeeper and to make sure not only that we close out the game 3-0, but we've improved our goal difference, we kept a clean sheet, and we find ourselves today in a Champions League place in the table for the first time since I think around maybe mid or the end of February, around that sort of time. It's crazy, absolutely crazy, but that was fantastic by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. My man of the match, I know a lot of people's man of the match was Nat Phillips, and yes, he probably does deserve it as well. There's nothing to say that he doesn't deserve it. For me, it's Andy Robertson. That man was non-stop, all game, up, down, up, down, up, down. He was just non-stop. He was everywhere. He was just fantastic all game. Really showed his leadership qualities as well, because it's easy to forget that he is a captain himself of the Scottish national team as well. And his leadership in terms of defence and also in terms of moving up the pitch, the moves that they can put together, absolutely brilliant. Andy Robertson for me is my man of the match. I'm not saying that Nat Phillips doesn't deserve it, but Andy Robertson just takes it for me because I was thoroughly impressed every single moment that Andy Robertson was on that pitch. And let's also not forget, Andy Robertson is most likely, if not, I'm pretty sure he is our most consistent player this season. I believe, if I remember rightly, he's so far played every single Premier League game, maybe barring a couple of minutes here or there, when like a Simicast might get, brought on, or someone else gets brought on and they maybe change the system or anything like that. He's at least started all of our games that I remember, and maybe like 8 or 9 or something out of our Champions League games or something like that as well. Master, he's just an absolutely brilliant, consistent player, and he's producing as well. Maybe he had a little bit of a production dip, like most of our team did from January onwards, but he's definitely finishing the season strong, and he's been absolutely outstanding for us, and he was outstanding in this game against Burnley. This Burnley game, all right, I know that they had to put out, I don't think they had to, but I think, what's his name? Nick Pope was out, and they didn't put Bailey Peacock Farrell in. Now, I think he was the goalkeeper that conceded 4 against Leeds. Will Norris, who started against us, conceded 3. I don't think it was down to just the goalkeeper. It's really, really harsh to put it down to just the goalkeeper. I think the defence didn't have the best game. I think the fact that for Burnley, somehow, Ben Mee, in terms of SofaScore and other, statistic rating sites and stuff such like that, Ben Mee is Burnley's highest performing player against us as well, which I don't, and they conceded 3 goals. It was just a collective thing. I think it could be really hard. I think Will Norris is their 3rd choice goalkeeper as well. But by the by, we went on and we won the game 3-0. Now, what does that do for us in terms of the table? Unbelievably, I can't believe I'm even looking at this. And apologies for not doing stuff on the computer as well, like getting everything like the visuals involved and stuff like that as well. But things are just a little bit trying at the moment, and I'm doing the best I can. But yeah, like as I say, hopefully we can get back into doing that sort of stuff pretty soon as well. I'm hoping that we can, and into next year as well. But yeah, honestly, actually, while I remember, Thiago, what a man. Thiago, I was very doubtful of Thiago like a couple of months into the season. Like, not, when he'd come back from his injury that he got against Everton. I think he'd only played, he played a half against Chelsea and was fantastic. Then he played against Everton, got injured. I think that was how it went. Out for a long time, came back, and I was fully doubting what Thiago was like. Thiago is just, he's not necessarily going to get the assist. He's not always going to score a goal or anything like that. But his vision and his footballing brain is just a little, for me and what I see from Thiago, and I never watched him at Bayern Munich, so I cannot even tell you what he was like there. But no matter what, Thiago gets himself on the ball, and his first thought is, right, what's in front? How can I get this ball forward? How can I spot the... Because that defence for Burnley is just ridiculously hard to break down, but Thiago really helped us do it. Maybe he doesn't get assists, but the passes beforehand that will include Thiago are so vital to the build-up to a goal or the build-up to a chance. And that was absolutely key for us. I thought he was very, very good. Fabinho had a little bit of he had a mixed night, in my opinion. It's just one of those. It wasn't one of his best nights, but he's had very, very good nights for us beforehand as well. Just, I don't know, just couldn't really get a grip of the game early on. Sort of grew into the game a little bit, but didn't have too much of an impact on it, like he normally does. But I'm sure that he did not have a bad game. Like some people have said that, oh, Fabinho was off. He wasn't off. Just didn't have the the influence that he can always have. But that's why you've got other players like a Thiago and also like a Gini Wijnaldum as well, who I thought Gini Wijnaldum played really well as well. Salah had a bit of a quiet night, had some good chances as well, just couldn't take them. I will look at the table, but I want to look at just two stats. Right, we had 20 shots in this game. We scored 3 goals, and all of our shots on target were goals. So to have 20 shots in a game, 3 shots on target, 3 goals, it's great to get the goals, but we need to be getting more shots on target. Maybe in some ways this team's starting to look, but not starting to look, that sounds harsh, but was looking a little bit desperate in some ways. They wanted to just get a shot off and hope that it can go on target and maybe create something because we're fighting for top 4. But that needs to be something that improves, because even though Burnley had less chances than us, they actually had more shots on target than us as well. Massive credit to Alisson as well. So the standings. We are currently in 4th position with a goal difference of 24, plus 24, and points on 66. Leicester are on 66 points as well with a goal difference of plus 20. So we have improved our goal difference by 3, and we now have 4 over them. So what Liverpool need to do to stay in the top 4 is either match or better Leicester's result on the final day of the season, and we have Champions League football next season. What we could also do, if we win our game, or say if Chelsea lose and we draw the game against Crystal Palace or something like that, our goal difference is now 1 better than Chelsea's, who face Aston Villa on the final day of the season, and we could move up to 3rd as well, which would be quite something if we draw or win. Obviously, if we lose the game, we have to try and keep our goal difference down and hope that Leicester also lose their game as well and don't get a draw or anything like that. But for right now, everything is still in our hands. Champions League football is within our hands. We cannot be overtaken by West Ham. Tottenham are now fighting for a Europa League place as well, as they lost to... My God, who did they lose to? I actually can't remember. Do I have it on here somewhere? Pretty sure I will. Tottenham. They lost to Aston Villa. It was Aston Villa, yeah. 2-1 they lost. So they now can only qualify for the Europa League as well, but they would also be relying on West Ham losing as well. So there's a lot of permutations that can happen. Man United and Man City are pretty much safe. They are safe where they are right now. It's between Chelsea, Liverpool and Leicester for top 4. And we'll be doing a preview. Most likely I'm going to get a preview done tomorrow as well. So that'll be happening then. And it'll be our final game of the season. I cannot believe how quickly this season seems to have just flown by. And then we're going to have all the things that we can do for the Euros. Unbelievable stuff. I cannot wait to get going on that sort of stuff as well. But there's still business to be done, still things to be concerned about, and still things to get stressed about as well. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again for all of your views, for your support, and for following me. If you have, I really do appreciate it. Please do feel free to get your comments down below, and I'll catch you later.